Time to time, you have reminded us to not bet against America. What do you think are the most important things for US to remain strong? And on the risk side, if the strength of the country is undermined, what could be the reasons?
Well, we've had a lot of tests. I mean, we're such a young country. When you think about Japan and you think about the United States, it's just incredible how new we are to the block. I mean, what are we? 234 years old since we started. That's nothing. I mean, Charlie and I combined are we've lived 2/3 of the life of the country. So, and I mean, it really has. I mean, we've been tested at 46 national elections, and we made some bad choices, and we've had a civil war. I mean, so the country has had enormous advantages, though, in some way, because we started with 0.5% of the world's population in 1790, and we now have something close to 25% of the world's GDP. And it wasn't because we had some incredible advantage in terms of land. It was nice to have two oceans on each side back when people tried to rule the world by ruling the waves. But and we had good neighbors in Canada and Mexico, but it's a miracle. And you say, how do we keep the good parts of this system while calling out our obvious defects? And we do it in a very herky-jerky manner. But net, the United States is a better place to live than it was when I was born, by a huge factor. I mean, I just got a root canal a week ago, and I was just thinking, I don't know who even invented Novocaine, but I'm for him. I mean, but in a million ways. I mean, you can romanticize about the past, but forget it. It has worked, but now we do have an atom bomb, and we wish nuclear power. We wish the atom had never been split, but it has been, and you can't put it back in the bottle. So the challenges are huge. Our government always looks. My dad was in Congress back in the 1940s, and it looked like a mess then. Although it was unified by the war to some degree, but it was still very partisan. Now the problem we have, I think, is that partisanship, it seems to me, has moved toward tribalism, and tribalism just doesn't work as well. I mean, when it gets to tribalism, you don't even hear the other side, and tribalism can lead to mobs. I mean, it flows. I mean, you've seen it elsewhere. We've seen it to a degree here. So we have to refine in a certain way our democracy as we go along. We deal with the world we live in. But if I still had a choice of any place to be born in the world, I'd want to be born in the United States, and I'd want to be born today. I mean, it is a better world than we've ever had, and with present-day communications, we can also see much more how terrible it is in many ways. And it's got problems. When I was born in 1930, there were 2 billion people in the world, and now there's maybe 7.7 billion and growing. And we went millennia with really no change in population. So and of course, we've introduced energy into, in an incredible way, into something where we now have 7.7 billion people using way more energy than they did when I was born, when there were 2 billion people. So it's an exciting world. It's a challenging world, and I don't know the solutions on things. I do think that we do need to think about different solutions in terms of how we get important problems solved, and that we don't kid ourselves that something magic will happen, or that everybody will get together and we'll all just cheer and it'll go away by 2050 or anything. And how well we adapt to that, we will see. I would say So far, it doesn't look very promising. But then I'm sure that when Lincoln looks at it, what was going on in the Civil War didn't look very promising either. So I think that the U.S. is capable of doing remarkable things, and I think it wouldn't surprise me if they do it again. Charlie, are you? Pardon?
Well, I'm slightly less optimistic than Warren is. I think the best road ahead to human happiness is to expect less. I think it's going to get tougher, and I think the solution of having a huge proportion of the young and brilliant people all go into wealth management is a crazy development in terms of its natural consequences for American civilization. We don't need as many wealth managers as we have.
Charlie was born on January 1st, 1924, and you'd hate to go back to that, wouldn't you, Charlie?
Yes, I would, and I like more wealth managers who are just merely reflecting the fact there's more wealth. But I don't like everybody going into wealth management right out of MIT or something. I think the world's a little crazy now.
Take your choice. Okay.